This is a quick update. Originally, this podcast started off as a duo. However, Mr. Difficult turned into an incredible ass, so I kicked his ass off and reemerged as I'm Difficult and Demanding Podcast, keeping it real on the ridiculous world we live in. Hello, how are you? My fans and curious friends, I am difficult and demanding. If you want to know my real name, then hold still, and I might bring your wish to fruition. Now, before we begin, you can find this podcast show in iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Blueberry, Google Play Music, TuneIn, and Stitcher. So download this episode, unplug from life, and dive all into episode 6 of the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real on the ridiculous world we live in. Today's show is called No the Hell You Didn't. Now, unlike the other people in your life, I actually care about what you think. So meet me halfway, take a tiny moment, and give my podcast and each episode a review rating. Welcome to the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real on the ridiculous world we live in. This solo show is outrageously honest and keenly witty with a view into life. Yes, I said life. That's what we do every day when we wake up from sleeping. We are living life. Well, some of us at least. Moreover, I hope to provide you with gut-wrenching laughter and a touch of wisdom. I'm difficult and demanding. But you can think about the possibility of calling me Tara. Now, I don't ask for much because I expect and receive it all. I firmly believe that if you expect shit, you will receive shit. What does that mean? Well, it means expect nothing but the best and don't settle for less. As always, I am keeping it real, and I think I lost my damn mind with this episode. I broke the crazy meter. I did a lot of role playing, so get ready for my madness. It is off the charts. This show is about the perspective and reaction of the people close or closest to the impact of a person being accused of sexual misconduct, harassment, assault, and unwanted advances. You may also find out how one grabs a pussy. Finally, climb aboard and enjoy the entire show, because I am ending it with plenty of ridiculous honesty. Once the podcast episode ends, I am keeping it going on my website with this episode's real talk questions. Hello, and thanks for joining me again. And welcome, my first-timers. Just so you know, I am very addictive. Today, we're doing some role-playing. Here's the catch. I'm the only one playing the roles. So either I am extremely creative or very crazy. I'm putting my money on very crazy, but I'll let you be the judge. But by the end, I think you will see how cray-cray I really am. The theme for this show is based on reactions to crazy, ridiculous shit. It's from the perspective of the wife or girlfriend or a person that is close to the accused. So let's get down and really dirty. For those that don't know what that means, it means let's get this show on the road. We are discussing some classics: Trump, Roy Moore, Charlie Rose, John Conyers, and Matt Lauer. Now let me remind you, this show is about the perspectives of the people close or closest to the impact of the situation. The situation is sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, sexual assault, and unwanted sexual advances. What do they think about the madness? How do they feel? What was their reaction? Most importantly, were they thinking, why did this stupid motherfucker go and do some shit like this? Of course, they will never say it out loud or in public. Get ready for a wild ride. And we are taking a ride on a train. Now, with all trains, you need a front and a back. Well, Trump will be the caboose of my train, or better yet, the ass. The head or the front of the train is Roy Moore, or the headless part of the train. And of course, I am your difficult and demanding conductor, so hop aboard. Roy Moore. I don't know if I want to laugh first or start talking. This motherfucker is ridiculous. Roy Moore first met his wife, Kayla, when she was at the age of 15 or 16 years old. That is when he first saw her and took an interest in her. Now you fast forward the clock, and he met her again when she was 23 years of age, and he was 37 at the time, and he saw her at a Christmas party. Now you want to talk about sugar daddy and sugar baby? Well, this is a classic case. They met again at the Christmas party, and the rest is history. So both of them have been married for a very, very long time. And he met her when she was quite young. So now I'm going to put myself into Kayla's shoes. And I'm going to just think about what must be going through the back part of your mind, where the shit that you don't want to remember, the shit that you're in denial about, the shit that haunts you, that little fucking voice in your head just saying, hello, listen to me, motherfucker's lying. That's the motherfucker I'm talking about. That person way in the deep parts of your subconscious, your instincts. That's that voice that I'm talking about. So now as Kayla, she's married to this man. She's been married to him for a very, very long time. And he's a politician. He's powerful. He's influential. And her relationship with him, her marriage, has afforded her certain privileges and luxuries in life and power. And, if I was her, I wouldn't necessarily want to give that up either. So now you have these people coming out that have never spoken out before in regards to things that they have encountered with Roy Moore in the past, currently, I don't know. But right now, let's focus on the past. And these women are saying these things that happened to them when they were 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now, keep in mind, Roy Moore first took an interest in Kayla when she was 15, 16 years of age. And this was written in a book that was either written by him or written for him about his life. So I'm not making this shit up. Now you have these women talking about how they had a relationship with him, meaning a friendship. He's dated them. He's pursued them when they were 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years of age. Now, being Kayla, I would think, interesting. But no, this is my husband. I've been married to him. So it has to be a lie, because Roy has told me how he loves me, how I hold a special place in his in his heart. And that all these other women are delusional. They're making it up and it's not true. That I am the only one that meant or means something and no one else matters. And that he is head over heel in love with me and only me and has been with me. Now let's do some motherfucking common sense fact checking. Kayla knows, I know, that he was attracted to me at the age of 15 or 16. I know that when I met him again at the age of 23, that he liked young women. So if I start connecting some dots, I would see some parallels. But to see parallels means you got to admit the truth. And to admit the truth, you have to take your veil off of denial and see the shit for what it really is. But I can't do that, because you know what? I've invested so much time and energy with this man that it cannot be true. I will not let it be true. And I will stop a motherfucker who tries to prove it to be true. Now, you have one woman who produced a handwritten card from Moore. And let me repeat. Handwritten. That means my husband, Roy Moore, because I'm Kayla right now, took the time to get a card, bought or buy it himself, take out a pen and write his signature, his John Hancock, not his cock, his John Hancock, his signature and some words on this card to this young lady who is in high school. Now, under normal circumstances, it wouldn't be a big deal. But keep in mind, this motherfucker said he took an interest in me, Kayla, at the age of 15 or 16. So is there a possibility that this fucker's lying? But no, I cannot accept it. It's not true. This is just one-off woman. She's nobody. She's nothing. She's jealous. She's a hater. She just wants my man. And she's just upset that I got him. She didn't get him. And that's all it is. Now you have 5 other women who basically says he pursued them when they were teenagers. Here we go again. Teenagers. How is it that we go from 1 to 5 other motherfuckers here saying, yes, this bastard liked me, wanted me, chased me, pursued me, came after me? These women don't know each other, but they're all coming up with the same story, very similar stories with some facts that happen to be overlapping or having overlapping interests. So in Kayla, I'm going to deny this shit. He's running to be in DC. And you know what? I want to be in DC too. I want more money and power. And that's what this is about. And fuck it. They ain't got no proof. No real proof. They don't have any dick pics. They don't have his voice. They don't have any shit. They don't have any sexting messages. So you know what? These motherfuckers all must be lying. Now, as with me, Kayla, my relationship with Roy Moore, me catching a man of such prominence at the age of 23, it was something that it was a big thing. It was something of accomplishment. And just like another woman, she said she wore her relationship with Roy Moore like a badge of honor. Like, hey, look who I'm able to catch. I'm a bad bitch. Look what I got. This means something. It means I'm somebody. I'm something. So I'm thinking, man, I felt that way too when I met Roy Moore when I was, 15, 16, and when I met him again at 23. But you know what? I'm the only one that can wear that as a badge of honor. So that hoe must be lying. And then, I'm listening to my husband, Roy Moore, gives these interviews and he's calling these women good girls. I mean, what the fuck is a good girl? This sounds like some morbid, some twisted, fucking disgusting, porno that is casting adults looking like little girls. Like, who calls people good girls unless this motherfucker's jerking off in a goddamn shower off of young women, which he shouldn't be. So I know my husband wouldn't do that. So I'm going to assume that he's being respectful and he's just placing himself back in time when these young ladies were high school students. That's all it must be, because you know what? They were good girls. And if they are good girls, which my husband said they are, good girls wouldn't be coming up with such horrible lies trying to ruin my life. Now, my husband has to run a campaign and he was very close to the finish line. So if he doesn't finish, he looks like a failure. I look like a failure. And guess what? My marriage looks like a facade, a joke, that everything I've gone through is for nothing. Because if these rumors or accusations turn out to be true, then my marriage is nothing. It means nothing. It was never anything at all. So as Kayla, I cannot let my marriage be a sham, be a waste of time. If I'm going to be in complete denial about what my husband has done, then you know what? We have to win this election by any means necessary. So I'm going to support my husband and him saying that these allegations are false, malicious, and he doesn't know any of these women. But they have proven these women have evidence with his writing on it that shows that he actually knows them. So how brazen, or better yet, how guilty must you be to be so brazen as to deny knowing these people when you know good and well that your motherfucking ass has an MO? and your MO is to buy cards, is to go to high school events, or to go to places where young teenage girls, they're going to be there. But he doesn't know them. He says he didn't date any of them, and he has not engaged in any sexual misconduct with anyone. Now you got the yearbook inscriptions with his same handwriting, but everyone is spreading false stories, and it's a part of a larger political conspiracy to defeat him. Well, you know, me as Kayla, I had to make a difficult choice, and that choice was either to expose this bastard and divorce his ass, or put my blinders on and focus on what's most important. And that is a decision that only I can make as far as what's important. But deep in my heart, I believe that my lying, cheating ass motherfucking husband wanted some more coochie on the side, likes young fucking teenage coochie, but I'm never going to say it to his bitch ass, and I'm never going to say it out loud, because you know what? We have an image to uphold. So at the end of the day, I have to carry in the back of my mind and deep in my heart that my husband's a hoe. He pursues young girls, and everyone knows, everyone knew, and even I think I know that there's a grain of truth or there's some smoke. And when there's smoke, better believe there's fire. Now, I've decided to help put the motherfucking fire out as fast as possible and deny it. But if the story doesn't make sense, then the shit probably ain't true. Next, I am talking about Charlie Rose. Now, if you guys don't know who Charlie Rose is, he is a great interviewer. He was on PBS TV. He's into news, journalism, broadcasting. Very articulate and highly intelligent man. He's very old, but he has definitely made an impact in the news and journalism field. Charlie Rose is not married. He was married. He got a divorce a long time ago, and he has a long-term girlfriend. Her name is Amanda, and she is a multi-millionaire. Now, Charlie was fired from PBS because of groping, lewd phone calls, trying to be naked in front of women that he worked or that worked with him or worked for him. And Charlie Rose made a statement, and his statement basically said, "It's essential that these women know I hear them, and I deeply apologize for my inappropriate behavior. I am greatly embarrassed. I have behaved insensitively at times, and I accept responsibility for that, though I don't believe all of these allegations are accurate. I always felt that I was pursuing shared feelings, even though I now realize I was mistaken." Now, I'm Amanda, and I'm listening to this statement, and basically, my longtime boyfriend has admitted to doing some shit that he's not supposed to be doing. Groping bitches, making phone calls, and dropping his drawers in front of other women. 8 women. Like, what is in his motherfucking package besides his dick and his balls that he needs to be showing 8 other motherfuckers what it is? I would have a problem with that. So I'm trying to think, if I was Charlie and this news was getting ready to come out about me, how would I handle the situation? How would I approach Amanda? Now, I think Charlie would rush his old ass home and would walk in the door with maybe some flowers. And I, being the millionaires that I am, would have already heard the news. But you know what? I would have been sitting at home waiting for his bitch ass to come. And I would have been sitting there, sipping my tea, some wine, some brandy, had the fireplace lit, listening to some music. I would basically, Amanda, act like I didn't know shit. And I would wait for Charlie to come through the door. And I would see him with this bouquet of flowers and chocolate and, some small gifts to show how much he loves and appreciates me. And I would pretend to be excited and loved and adored and all those different things. And then I would wait for him to sit down and start the conversation with me. And what I think what Charlie would do is I would say, look, I've done some things and I've been exposed and I want to let you know before or as soon as possible because I love you and I care for you and I don't want this to impact you, your brand, or our relationship because I love you dearly. And I would have said, okay, I see. Okay, so what have you been exposed for? Then being Charlie, some women, they may have misunderstood my actions or my statements or seeing my dick as being I was trying to pursue them. And clearly they didn't want to see my dick or get my nasty ass dirty phone calls, or they didn't appreciate my tails from the crip hand touching their ass. So I think that instead of focusing on that, I think we need to focus on how we're going to save our own personal brands. And I need you to team up with me and, and let's ride through this and let's cover this up. But I think I need to apologize so I don't lose all face and credibility. So do you support me with this? And as Amanda, of course, being a millionaire, I would have to think about my own brand and how this is going to tarnish it. So, of course, I have to indulge this motherfucker. So I would say, okay, yes, let's focus on business matters first and make sure this is tightened up. So what are you going to say to these women? Well, Charlie, being Charlie, I would say, well, I've crafted a statement and, I'm going to let them know that I heard what they're saying and I understand and I apologize. And, some of them, they misunderstood. And for others, I apologize. And overall, I thought they all motherfucking wanted me because I'm just so old and fucking hot. Okay. So that's what you're going to say. Okay. But, before we go ahead and issue this statement. This is Amanda talking to Charlie. I want to talk to your punk motherfucking ass. Who the fuck were you grabbing and groping the fucking way? Like, tell me what the fuck you were doing. I want to know exactly what the fuck. Where did you touch a motherfucker? Where did you touch this bitch? Who the fuck did you touch? Why the fuck are you touch me and I gotta lay next to your old ass in bed every fucking night and you all rolling all over me and you want to touch a motherfucker at work? I mean, what the fuck? Have you lost your goddamn mind? Like, have you lost your goddamn mind? And Charlie be like, well, work is so stressful and, sometimes with the stress and the intensity and we're so busy that I have needs. Oh, you got needs. Oh, motherfucker, you got needs? Let me tell you what the fuck I need. I need a man who won't be going around touching other motherfucking bitches, acting like a hoe and basically embarrassing me and jeopardizing what the fuck I have with you. I mean, have you lost, I've already asked you this. You clearly have lost your goddamn mind. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm getting ready to lose my motherfucking mind on your ass because you should know better. You should know better. And you're going to know better. Matter of fact, you're lucky if I don't bitch slap your ass, kick you the fuck out, and send your ass to a motherfucking grave. That's what you're lucky I don't do. Now, what do you expect me to do? I gotta show my fucking face out in the business world. And your ass is out here touching, groping people. You're making me a joke. You're making me a laughing stock. People are going to question, what am I doing or not doing that my man, Charlie Rose, is out grabbing people that work for him? Like, you're power playing. Like, after all you've achieved and accomplished, you can't control your fucking hormones. You can't control your fucking sexual urges that you have to go around touching people. What makes you think somebody wants your old, gray, bald, losing ass? Let me ask you this first. What makes you think somebody young wants your ass? Oh, because you're Charlie Rose? Fuck you, fuck your name, and fuck whatever horse you rode the fuck on. Get your motherfucking ass out of my face and get the fuck out of here. Now, that's what I would do if I was Amanda. And he's lucky I didn't knock his fucking fake ass teeth to the back of his goddamn throat for doing some shit like that. But hey, like I said, I'm role playing and being Amanda, his ass would have got slapped so goddamn hard, his head would have reversed permanently, and he would be walking around like the motherfucking no noggin or scarecrow from fucking Halloween. That's what fuck he would be doing, fucking with me. John Conyers Jr. He is the longest serving member of Congress. Currently, right now, he is 88 years old. And unfortunately, he is having to retire before he actually intended to, due to his behavior. He has basically asked for sexual favors. He has asked his staff to contact and transport his mistresses. And he has been rubbing legs, backs, and asses. And people have witnessed him do that. I mean, he's basically put his hand up people's skirts during meetings, driving to the airport. So, I mean, he's basically been misconducting his ass, harassing and molesting his staff. Now, he is married to another politician. Her name is Monica, and they've been married for a very, very long time. And some of John's prior staff members have basically said the following. One woman said that they were going to a political event. There wasn't enough or any hotel rooms available or left. So John had her stay in his hotel suite. And basically, he was offering her sex, and she basically refused him. He's also repeatedly propositioned people for sex and asked to have people touch his genitals, which is basically his package, his junk, his dick. That's what he's asked people to do. Another lady has said that while he was driving and she was in the passenger seat, he was trying to fill her up with his right hand, and she says she kept pushing his hand away. Then he put his hand on her neck and started trying to tickle her while in the car. Another person said that he put his hands up her dress and whispered in her ear, "I didn't know you had such great legs. They are the best." Now, this man has been around for a very, very long time. And even if we roll the clock back a generation, and a generation is 20 years, that would put him at the age of 68. And if you roll back another 10 years, that would be 30 years. He would be around the age of 58. So this old ass motherfucker is going around with his wrinkly, crinkly hands, shoving his hands up people's skirts and on their thighs. Like, what young, supple, vibrant woman would want those old ass RIP hands rubbing all over her soft, sumptuous legs? Like, has he lost his goddamn mind? Like, how? He must be a pimp, because he must be. Pimping ain't easy, because for this motherfucker to be that old, a senior citizen, trying to hit on young women, and matter of fact, he's not even hitting on them. He's taking the privilege. He's basically, he has the gall to go and put his hands, crusty ass hands, on another woman and think that she's gonna say, "Ooh, baby, I like that. Ooh, give me more." No, she gonna say, "Get your crusty, dusty motherfucking ass off of me and go talk to your wife, Monica, because I ain't her and she ain't me." That's what I would say. And, being Monica, if I was Monica, I would not be surprised at all, because she's been married to this man for a very, very long time. And I'm sure that they spend a lot of time apart. So now I'm going to put my shoes and put myself in the shoes of Monica right now, which is his wife. And when he arrived, back home, I would wait for him to walk through the door, and, he would approach me slick as shit, like his shit doesn't stink, like, it is what it is. And if you know, you know, if you don't, you don't. I don't give a fuck. And I would have basically sat there and looked at him in his eyes, and I would start laughing in his face. And I would say, "Yeah, motherfucker, you just got caught. I know the shit you've been doing. You've been doing it for a long goddamn time. You've been getting away with it." And I would laugh in his fucking face. And now I would say, "What the fuck you gonna do about that? You thought you were so powerful and influential that you didn't think you could ever be touched. But just like a star can fall from the sky, Your shit has fallen. It's done. It's over for you. And good luck to you. And don't ever fucking touch me again. And matter of fact, give me back my motherfucking name. I'm changing my name back to what it was before I met your bitch ass, and that's what it is. And I ain't gonna take half of your money. I'm gonna take all your shit, and I'm gonna leave you on the curb. You can take your fucking legacy, and your fucking 68 years in Congress, and you can shove them up your ass, but I'm taking your money, and I'm taking everything else, and I'm divorcing your ass. Bye, bitch. That's what I would say to him. Now, before I get off the topic of John Conyers, I want to let you know what his response, well, how he replied or what he said about the accusers and the allegations that are basically hanging over his head. And what his response was is that the accusations, they are uncorroborated at best, and at the worst, they're just not believable. What in the fuck does that mean? So let's listen to this very carefully. He said, at best, these allegations are uncorroborated, which means there were no eyewitnesses. Motherfucker, if the woman had an eyewitness while you were rubbing your fucking crusty, dusty ass hands up her goddamn skirt, that would kind of make her a slut, a hoe, a porn star. So you're basically saying the bitch must be lying because there was no one there witnessing me rubbing my motherfucking hands all the way up to her coochie. That's what you're trying to say. That makes no motherfucking sense. Basically what you're saying is, I did the shit, you ain't got no proof, and there's not a motherfucking thing you can do about it because no one's gonna believe you over me because you know what? I'm John motherfucking Conyers. Fuck you, bitch, and go home. That's exactly what he's saying. They're at best uncorroborated. And then at worst, they're just unbelievable. How is it that they're unbelievable? Because you don't want to believe the shit? Or because you're saying these people are no one really important and that no one's going to believe what the fuck they said? But anyone who knows you, who's worked with you, who's been around you, they know the shit's true. They just don't want to stand up and speak the truth because of your power and influence. So basically you're doing shit because you can, and you're going to keep doing it because you can get away with it. And the only reason why you've gotten caught now is because of the Me Too movement. Otherwise, you would have been halfway in your grave. Actually, you're already halfway in your grave. So you've actually been one toe out of your fucking grave, still molesting women and saying, hey, at best, they're uncorroborated, and at worst, they're unbelievable. Fuck you and go the fuck home. Next, we are talking about Matt Lauer. Matt Lauer is married to Annette, and they've been married for 20 years. He was making $25 million a year for being on the Today Show. And he was fired due to inappropriate sexual behavior. He lost that gig of his, $25 million a year. And this is not the first time that Annette and Matt have had troubles in their marriage. I believe in 2006 or 2005, she was going to file for divorce, but he offered her a postnuptial. That's different from a prenuptial. A prenuptial is before you get married. A postnuptial is after you get married. And in the postnuptial, he offered her millions of dollars to stay in the marriage because it would jeopardize his brand, his image. And he had the image of being America's nicest, greatest dad from being on the Today Show. And he didn't want to tarnish or erode his brand. So he offered her millions of dollars to stay in the marriage. And I'm of course, he agreed to make changes in his behavior and improve and all that. But it's been known that it's no secret that he has continuously cheated on his wife. And it's just a fact. So as Annette, why she chose to stay, I'm sure she chose for valid reasons, and we must respect that. And again, I want to focus on the fact that this show is about people's reactions that are closest to the accused, how they feel, what are their thoughts and things like that. So I'm not going into why someone chose to stay or not to stay. That's not my business. But what I am focusing on is their reaction to what the circumstances are. Now, it's been said that Matt Lauer dropped his pants in front of a female employee whom he had invited into his office. He showed his dick and reprimanded her for not engaging in a sexual act. 1. He gave another co-host a sex toy gift and explained to her how he would like to use it on her. Matt has also openly discussed which female co-hosts he would like to have sex with, and he has made lewd comments verbally and over text messages. It's also been said that Matt had a button to discreetly lock the door to inappropriately initiate sexual contact with women that he invited into his office at work. This is a dirty dog motherfucker. Like, the facts, when you think about them, whether they're facts or not, let's just assume they are. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So how do I think Matt handled this situation when the news was going to break? Well, I know that Matt and Annette, they do not live together day to day. They live in separate places. I think he's in New York and she's in the Hamptons. So I believe he would have got on the phone immediately and called Annette and told Annette that there's some news that is very damaging that's going to come out, and that he wanted to be the first to let her know, and that he is on his way home as soon as possible to discuss the details. And I believe he would have told her not to pick up the phone, not to answer the phone, not to look at her text messages, not to go on social media, not to turn on the TV. Basically, he would have told her to go in the motherfucking closet with the kids and turn off the lights, lock the door, and don't come the fuck out until I come home. That's what I think Matt would have told Annette. Now, Annette being Annette, she would have listened to him. Now, I'm Annette. I would have listened to him, and I would have pretended to agree to everything he said. And the first thing I would have done when I hung up the phone with his motherfucking ass is I would have first turned on the goddamn TV. I would have got all 10 computers. I would have fired those bitches up, and I would went to every major news site to see what was going on. And I would answer every goddamn phone call that was coming through my phone to tell me about what his bitch ass had done. Now, Matt has arrived home, and, he's coming through the door like, he's Superman. He's trying to save the day, some shit like that. First, he would apologize profusely to me and said that, you must understand that, this is going to have a very damaging impact on the kids. And it's our job to make sure we protect and circumvent the kids. So they're not, harmed by this news in any way, shape, or form. So if I was Matt, I would have focused on the kids and making sure that the kids' welfare is what our main objective is. And then second, if I was Matt, I would have also talked about how our personal brands are going to be impacted by this news and how we need to basically start minimizing any losses that we may occur to our brand. And, being Annette, I would have listened very calmly and carefully. And then I would have asked my nanny or nannies to please take the kids someplace else, maybe to the guest house on the property, or take them someplace safe where they're not going to be impacted by this news. And then it would have gotten started. First thing I would have done as Annette is I would have asked, because I've already done my research now, so I know what this motherfucker is going to say and what he's not going to say. I would have asked him, what exactly did you do? And Matt would have said, being slick as he is, that there's been some misunderstandings, and I just have I have a weird sense of humor, and it was taken the wrong way, and I had no knowledge that it was taken that way. And, I wish the women would have told me in advance so I could have remedied the situation. But unfortunately, everything has come to an head, and basically the shit has hit the fan, or the fan has hit the shit. And I would say, okay. And then I would have asked them, so did you have a lock that you could push on your desk? Did you have a button that you could push on your desk to lock the door? And then being Matt would have said, yes, but you have to understand that's for disciplinary reasons. Sometimes I had to fire people. So again, the whole automatic or that button pushing, locking, it's all a misunderstanding. And I would say, okay. And what about you appearing naked in front of coworkers or dropping your pants in your underwear? I mean, what is that about? Well, if I was Matt, I would say, well, one day I lost, I've been trying to lose weight. And one day, unfortunately, I was rushing out of the house and, or one of my dressing assistants, they forgot to get me a belt. So I was waiting for that belt. And while I was having a conversation, standing up, of course, talking to this female employee of mine, my pants dropped. I would say, okay, your pants dropped because you didn't have a belt on. Okay, this is Annette. Your pants dropped because you didn't have a belt on. Okay. Then I would say, Motherfucker, what the fuck that got to do with your fucking underwear? Your underwear don't need a goddamn belt. Do you wear a belt on your underwear? So what the fuck is your dick doing out? Huh? Are you walking around with pants with no underwear on? Or did you have underwear on, but your underwear needed a belt? Like, which story are you telling me right about now? Because what I've read and what I've been told is you've been showing your junk. You've been dropping your shit in the office, locking doors, and showing people your dick. Now, you need to explain to me right here, right now. What were you waiting for the belt for? Were you waiting for a belt for your pants, or were you waiting for a belt for your underwear? Or did you not have any underwear on and your ass didn't have a belt on in your pants, and that's how your dick was on display? Tell me which one it is. Why was your dick on display? And then being Matt, of course, he wouldn't have any answers at that point. He would not, no. What we need to do, we need to focus on, okay, fuck you. Don't worry about the kids. I'm going to take care of the kids. You need to tell me, were you waiting for a belt for your pants? Did you have no drawers on? Or 2, were you waiting for a belt for your underwear? I want you to answer that question, because that will help me understand why you, my husband, have other women out here who can describe what your crooked ass dick looks like. Explain to me. Please explain to me, because I'm Annette now. Do you know who I am? I'm Annette. I'm a motherfucking model. Do you know who I am? I don't have to be with your fucking bald ass. I can have anyone in the goddamn world, even now, still today, after producing these kids. Do you actually think that you can pull this shit on me? I tried to divorce your ass 10, 15 years ago, and you told me you were going to approve, but you haven't changed a goddamn thing except for your lies. That's the only thing you've changed. You haven't changed your actions. You haven't changed the shit that you're telling me. The only thing that you've changed is the motherfucking lies that are coming out of your mouth. What do you have to say for your behavior? Well, I don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Okay. So you basically got caught up in the Me Too moment and you have been exposed. Otherwise, you would have continually kept molesting, harassing, bullying, and sexually intimidating women at your workplace and had this fake ass facade like you're America's greatest dad and greatest husband. That's what you would have continued to do. And you want me to stand by you through this shitstorm while you try to repair the damage that you've done? Okay. I don't think so. Fuck you and the Today Show and your brand and your America's greatest dad image. I can't stand your ass. I couldn't stand you from the first time I wanted to divorce your ass. And guess what? You have now given me the key to take you for every motherfucking thing. You see, what you thought is when I didn't divorce your ass the first time and I signed that post-nuptial for millions of dollars, I knew your bitch ass wasn't going to change. So I sat around and I waited and I waited and I waited for the perfect opportunity to take everything from you except that goddamn belt that you're waiting for. So when you see me in court, don't wave, don't look my directions. Just keep looking straight ahead at the judge's decree, because he's going to give me all your shit. Pain, suffering, humiliation. And then the kids and we're going back to my home country overseas. And if you're lucky, I may let your ass see them over Skype. Fuck you. Goodbye. Last but not least, I am talking about Donald Trump. Yes, our president, Donald Trump. And I'm going to take a different twist with this one. I'm going to be focusing on his deputy press secretary, or whatever she is, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And some of the things that Sarah or Sanders has said to the press is that, she denies the sexual harassment allegations and says it took place before he was elected president. Sanders says, he won the election by the people, and the people have addressed these allegations via their voting and electing him president. And she also says that she has eyewitnesses that have verified Trump's denials. So basically, she has people who basically can say that what Trump is saying is true and what the accusers are saying are false. And Sanders also have said that the difference between Franken, another person who's been accused of sexual misconduct, harassment, who's in public office, and Trump, the difference between Franken and Trump is that Franken has admitted his wrongdoings and Trump has not. Now, this is very interesting because 1, she is a woman. 2, she's in a job that basically she's supposed to speak on behalf of the president's office, the Oval Office. But you have 2 components here. You have her and her job, and you have her as a human being and as a human. And at some point when she steps out of the White House every single day, she has to ask herself, what the fuck am I doing? Like, is what I'm doing make sense? I mean, how am I presenting myself to the world? How am I presenting myself to my family, to my children if I have it? Like, what I'm saying, how does that reflect on me? She has to think about that because her statements that she has made are inconsistent, are completely inconsistent. On one hand, she's saying, you know what? Whether it happened or not, I don't give a fuck. He was elected president. This is what it is. Get the fuck over yourself. Shut the fuck up. Go drink some hot tea. On the other hand, she's saying, we have proof. We have people who can verify what the president is saying. And these people are basically proving his accusers wrong, saying that they're liars. Like, this story doesn't make any sense at all. Because on one hand, you're saying they're not true. On the other hand, you're saying it doesn't matter if it's true or not. The people have voted and they've elected him. So get over it. It doesn't matter anymore. But it's quite hypocritical because we have a Me Too moment and you have numerous of people who work in DC who are resigning due to their actions and their choices. But when it comes to our president, his press secretary is saying, look, it happened before he was president. We don't care. He's voted in. This is what it is. Shut the fuck up about it. And then on the other hand, she's saying, you know what? Hey, we got people who saying it's not true. Trump is saying it's not true. So the shit ain't true. Now, she's a very smart woman. There is no way that she could get to where she is right now and be in the proximity that she is to the United States president, the president of the United States, by being a fool. So I have to think from Sarah Huckabee's perspective that she has a strategy. She has a motive behind her actions. So now I'm going to put myself into Sarah Huckabee Sanders' shoes and try to think about, what it is that she's trying to achieve. And as Sarah, I'm looking back and I'm saying, you know what? This shit doesn't make any goddamn sense. But I have the opportunity of a lifetime here. I was just promoted because the other director left. And I have an opportunity to have more power, more influence. And you know what? I don't give a fuck if his ass did it or not, because you know what? This is an opportunity of a lifetime for me. And I would be a fool to quit from this goddamn job. So if I gotta lie, manipulate, steer people in the other direction, spread fake news, then that's exactly what I'm going to have to do to make this worth my while. Because if I leave this job right now, all the lies that I've told before and the bullshit that I've thrown out there, it's going to be for nothing. And if I'm going to be impacted by being in this man's administration, then I'm going to do it on my terms and I'm going to do it by any means necessary. And so the fuck what if I leave several bodies in the way? The end will justify the means for me. That's what I would think of if I was Sarah Huckabee Sanders, because Sarah and Trump have basically said that he's never met these people. And there has been proof that he has met these people. Emails, photos, videos, text shows that he knows these women. So as Sarah, how can you, in DC, in the Oval Office, sworn to protect our nation, our Constitution, blatantly lie about some of our fundamental rights, blatantly lie to the citizens of the United States about someone's integrity, about their character? She has, I would have, an ulterior motive that basically outweighed anything or anyone, and that's what this is about. Now you have Trump, who has basically said that, you know what, he's done some of the things that he's done because he can. He's walked in on contestants, young contestants that were naked because he could get away with it. And he has said blatantly that he has never met his accusers. And he has visually, which means he has laid his eyes on other women and inspected their bodies, groped their bodies, fondled and forcibly kissed them. Hell, he said he's grabbed them by the fucking coochie. Grabbed them by the coochie. Pause. I have to take a slight detour. How do you grab someone by the pussy? Like, how is that possible? You see, I think he made a mistake because it's not possible to grab someone by the pussy because our shit is on the inside. So what I think he's done is I think he may have grabbed some dude's junk and claimed that he grabbed some pussy because you can't grab us. There is nothing really there to grab. You can't grab us. You can get grabbed. Your shit can get choked, yanked, twisted, and tossed the fuck off. But you can't grab a pussy. So it is outrageous to even make a statement, to think about that, to even think that. You can finger. You can't motherfucking grab. Now, that was a slight detour. Let me get back on topic. Trump also feels victimized. He feels victimized by his accusers because now that he's become president, all of these things have come out about him, but no one said anything about him for years. Okay, let me tell you why no one said anything, just in case people haven't figured this shit out. I'm going to spell it out for you. I'm going to spell it out very slowly and carefully. Women we've been sexualized for years. You know why? Because we're beautiful. Our figure is beautiful. Everything is beautiful about us. We're just beautiful creatures. We're goddesses. That's what we are. Now, as a goddess, we should be treated with the respect and accord that we're due. But instead, people act like wild animals. And they're touching us, when they have no reason, no right, no privilege, no permission to do so. And it's happened over and over again. You know why? Because it's been a male-dominated world. And you wouldn't have men if there were no women. And you wouldn't have women if there were no men. So why is it that we can't have the same balance, the same respect, equality that's given? Why does one have to be better or worse off than the other? We're here for a reason. You have night and day, you have on and off, and you have men and women. We're supposed to go hand in hand. Not hand and foot, meaning the hand is the man, the foot is woman. No. Hand in hand, which means we're equals. And we should be treated as equals. But we've been sexualized forever. And people turn a blind eye for many reasons. They can't deal with the truth. They don't know how to handle the situation. Someone is powerful and they're scared to deal with it. There's a whole number of reasons. But the reason why people are coming out about our President Trump is because of Mr. Harvey Weinstein. Now, this is another motherfucker who's been doing shit for years, for generations, for years. Why? Because no one did anything about it. For their own reasons. Maybe he was powerful, they had favors, whatever the reasons were, no one did anything. So why are people coming out now is because they now have a door, they have an opening, they have a platform in which they're being heard and they're being taken seriously. So that is why now, when Mr. Donald Trump decided to run for president and win the presidency, for whatever reason he won, that is why people are coming out now, because people are willing to listen now. They can put it out in public and have some form of protection, a cloak of safety, and putting these accusations out there. Because before and the prior, the person who suffered, the person who was molested, harassed, they were the ones that were punished, bullied, stifled, throttled. They were the ones. And now there's a chance and a way for them to say their truth and not being harmed the way they could have been or would have been in the past. So that is why things are coming out about President Trump now, because they have the opportunity to do so. And it would have made no sense or no point trying to bring anything up about him before because he was too powerful and he was a private citizen. And there wasn't much these people can do about it because they didn't have the money, the power, the contact, or influences to impact him. But now that he is our president and he's supposed to be representing all of us, not some of us, all of us, it's only right that these women or these people have a voice. And since people like Harvey Weinstein have been exposed, only it's natural for him to be exposed also. So for him to say that he feels victimized, yeah, I can understand why he feels victimized because his bitch ass has been getting away with this shit for years and no one or nothing they've done nothing about it. They've turned a blind eye because you know what? They're making money. They've basically covered their ears. You know why? Because they get a deal out of it. Whatever their personal reasons are, they find it funny. Whatever their reasons are, nothing's been done. So now that he's been pointed out, he's been exposed, he feels victimized. But let me tell you something. There are photos that shows he knows the victim. And there are a lot of other things that shows he knows the victim. So some of these people have even competed in beauty pageants that he owns. So for Sarah to sit here and say, the people have voted, shut the fuck up, get the fuck over it. Or we have witnesses that prove he didn't do it, but she still hasn't provided those witnesses. You have to understand that this woman is working her objective by any means necessary. And she's another shrewd opportunist. And she figured if I'm going to be tarnished by this bullshit, then you know what? I'm going to get something out of this shit and I'm going to make the most of it. I will deal with my morals and my ethics and my conscience at a later date. Maybe, fuck it, I will never deal with it. Maybe I'll burn in hell for this shit. But anyway, in this lifetime, I'm going to make a name for myself. And since everybody seems to be dropping out of his administration by flies, it's best for me to stick around because I'm shameless. And I'm Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And I can do this shit. And I am going to do this shit. And you want to know why I'm going to do this shit? It's because I'm going to be rich, bitch. That's what Sarah would say. Because after she finished serving with our President Trump, you know what the first thing she's going to do? She is going to write a book. She's going to go on tour. She's going to get interviews. Her ass is going to get paid. She figured if our president can make millions and millions of dollars starting businesses, filing for bankruptcy, fostering illegal deals, doing whatever's necessary to get ahead, then she has learned a thing or two. Maybe she's his Oval Office apprentice. And she's going to use his same shameless, shrewd, ruthless opportunity or his tactics to create an opportunity for herself, to make a name for herself, to build a legacy for herself. And maybe one day in the future, she can laugh about it. But right about now, she's focused on getting ahead. And the means by which she's getting ahead, it's this way, and whether it's right or wrong, she's going to have to look herself in the mirror, and she's going to have to deal with that shit. But Sarah Huckabee Sanders will be haunted by her choices, her actions for the rest of her life. She will be rich, but she will be haunted. And as with everything, there's a cost. And what her cost will be, we will have to wait and see. But I just want to let you know, she's lying for a cause. She's lying for her own personal cause. And she's not going to stop until she has to stop or until the show is over. And what do I mean by the show is over? He's no longer our president. And then she's going to start her own show. And she is going to get PAID. Well, that's all I have for today. Thanks for listening. I hope you found it very, very funny. I enjoyed it. I had to take a few pauses to get myself together. There was a few rants in there, but I think you get the gist of the ride, and I hope you found it wild and exciting. And please come back and join me. Are you disappointed this episode has come to an end? Well, I am keeping it going with my real talk questions. One real talk question is, do you think Trump will ever be held accountable for his actions toward women? Email me your real talk answers. Let me know what you think about this episode by rating my show. and commenting on my website. My next ridiculous episode is called Common No Sense. The release date for episode 7 is January 5th, 2018. And Happy New Year. So, I am closing this show with some real talk. Power. Power is a privilege, not a right. It is not a weapon you can wield at your whim against people. Now, does great power equal tremendous sexual arousal and seduction? Hell no. It just makes a nobody feel like a somebody. And that is why power is abused. The person is not ready or able to guide or influence for the betterment of most, if not all. So be careful. Be very careful on who you choose to follow, because they may not be what they seem. How was that for some ridiculous honesty? For immediate episode access, engage with the show with a simple click to subscribe or follow, and give this podcast and each episode a review rating. Now give my episode links to friends, family, and associates. Give it to your frenemies. Hell, give it to your enemies. Bring laughter to others and show your love for this podcast. Please subscribe to this show and tune in next time for another episode of the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real on the ridiculous world we live in. If you would like to ask me a general question, provide your comments, or make a topic suggestion, then email me at difficultanddemanding@gmail.com. Please follow the show on Instagram at difficultanddemanding, Twitter at Mrs. D&D, and Facebook at I Am Difficult and Demanding.